Hey, so I just wanted to make this video about things that are going on in the world, certain changes and stuff like that. And it's just in the way that I've been looking at it. And so I had a conversation with some people at a Halloween party recently. And, the sort of like we talked about things for hours. It was a beautiful, wonderful conversation. But, the final word on my part, kind of where the conversation went, was just to do with like you can't just because of like all the stuff that's going on in the world, and it's like, so what do we do about it? And because you might feel like you should be doing something or whatever, right? And so like the spiritual way of looking at it is that you can't change the world. It's impossible. What you can do is you can change yourself, and the world then becomes a reflection of the changes that you made in yourself, because it's like a mirror. You can't reach out and change the mirror. No matter what you do, you have to make the changes within, and then the mirror will be reflective of the changes that you made within yourself. And so like this is sort of like the difference between a conventional way of looking at things with sort of like a linear space-time. It's like, okay, well, this is now and the past is the past and the future is the future, and this is how everything works. But I mean, according to spirituality and even like certain science, right? I mean, that's just not what's going on. It's a multi-dimensional thing that's taking place, and then if you can't kind of, until you wrap your mind around that, basically nothing will make sense, because it's like the foundation for everything that's going on. It's like it's not something that can be kind of overlooked or dismissed. I mean, certainly you can live your life without that type of an understanding, and you can navigate life and live your entire life without ever really kind of taking that kind of stuff into account. But yeah, I guess it's like, if you really want to understand what's going on and how to essentially how to handle yourself in this world in the most appropriate manner, like in a way that, because if you would like to have an impact in the world, if you would like what you're doing to have meaning, if you would like to have purpose and all that kind of stuff, not that those things are necessarily intimately intertwined with that idea, but like, yeah, like how does a person approach life? How do you handle yourself? And so there's this thing I was just it's interesting that, I said to my sister, it's interesting to see that some things coming together and other things falling apart. There's things happening with governments. There's things happening, like there is what do you call it? The war in like Israel, Gaza, Palestine, and that kind of stuff, where it's interesting that it's being talked about openly. People are becoming more aware of it. They're seeing how the whole topic gets portrayed by certain like news organizations and stuff like that. And because it was, for a long time, it wasn't something that everybody really knew about. But then all of a sudden it blew up, and then there was information about what was going on being fed to people. And then all of a sudden, then people make their own mind up of it all, because of, over time, they say, there's three things that you can't hide for long: the sun, the moon, and the truth. And so like eventually the truth comes out, and people start to kind of see, it's like, oh, you run the numbers and you see, it's like, well, what that's saying doesn't add up. It's like, it appears that this is going on. And so, yeah, very, very interesting. I was saying to my sister that, to me, it's all very, seeing these big changes, seeing things that are going on, it's very, for myself, what my takeaway is, it's very motivating. it's like, wow, there's good things going on. It seems like there are good people working all over the world to make a difference, to really try to clean up this mess that we've been dealing with for a long time, and bring something amazing and beautiful forward from it all, growth from it all. And so it's like, it's been very motivating to me. It's like, wow, like, I'm already fairly motivated, but it's like, wow, just really knuckle down. Now is the time to focus, and be more diligent in, like, say, the things that I'm working on, and like really move forward. And so, it kind of brought up these other feelings. And this is why I kind of wanted to make this video, because I only expressed this to my sister, but it's just like, I said, I try not to get too caught up in anything that I see going on outside of me, good or bad, what things appear to be, and just focus on the things that are most important to me, and trust that whatever I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing, and that everything is going to be okay. And I said to her, I was like, there have been times that I have felt like I wasn't doing enough, where it's easy to look at what other people are doing and think that we should be doing more. You know what I mean? But it's like, everybody's work is important. There is no comparison. It's not about being like anyone else or doing what anybody else is doing. It's about being who you are and being an expression of that, And so, for myself, it's just that those little bits of advice that I remind myself of, it helps when I'm, sitting here working on the things that I'm doing, which at the moment has to do with yoga. And it's just like, there's this influencer culture that is out there today where, people are saying, oh, well, this is what you should be doing, and, this is what you need to know, and like, certainly this is what I'm doing. And it's just like, some of it is pretty inspiring and some of it's amazing. I mean, yeah, and I just, I find that it just helps to not compare, right? It's like, the things that I'm working on, sure, I'm working on putting together right now just a yoga class, but it's important, you never know how what you're doing is going to add up, certainly in your own life, towards your own endeavors, but how the things that you're doing will can touch other people and can be a positive, have a positive impact in the world and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't, like I was saying to my sister, I don't look outside of myself too much, because it's easy to get carried away with, you look at what's going on in the world and what other people are doing, and it's easy to get caught up in that and to start forming ideas or thoughts or opinions or beliefs and having feelings about it all, and becoming concerned or getting worried, or it can cause anxiety and stuff like that. Is certainly, there can be some uncertainty that comes as a result of seeing this stuff if you don't know how to relate to it, especially things like, with this election with President Trump. Some people are very supportive of that man and see what he's doing as a good thing. I mean, certainly the overwhelming majority of the American people feel that way, especially because they have elected him twice. I don't know if that's ever happened, but yeah, I mean, so it's quite an interesting scenario, right? But for some people, it's like the end of the world. Like, I saw somebody post this morning. I was just on Facebook because I'm selling a couple of instruments on Marketplace, and a buddy of mine who talks about stuff, and he posted something saying how, like, there were all these old posts about how Trump was gonna start wars, and he had his finger on the nuclear button, and it's just like, there's a lot of news out there that can freak a person out, but of course, when things come to pass and the things that get talked about, the kind of propaganda it's just propaganda, right? And it's you don't want to get too influenced by sources of information that aren't necessarily just that are unbiased, right? And so that's why it helps to, I don't know, to have some of these ideas, I guess, that I was that I was talking about, that it's not something to worry about too much. Some of it is fascinating, though. And it is important to not stick your head in the sand, right? You don't want to, you have to be somewhat aware of the things that are going on in this world. For myself, it doesn't work to just live like a hermit in seclusion and not know anything about anything that's going on. Yeah, I don't know what else I was trying to say. I think that's it. So yeah. And so I, all that said and done, I just continue with my work and not get overwhelmed by anything that's going on, or and it has to be enough.